All right, what's up, everybody? Another episode of Broken Bear Conversations. You know, still in the same spot. I mean, this is the same session we're recording on.
Same
We
session,
just
yeah.
both took our jackets, but same day, same everything. Again, we're on everything. Broken Bear Conversations, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. I almost forgot. And yeah, I'm Siko.
This is Josh.
And off camera, he was telling me a little bit about a story about his brother. Could you continue?
Yeah, so give you some context. My brother, he's pretty unlucky. Just to start off, he's one of the most unlucky people I think I've ever encountered.
God damn.
So, like he's one
What
of
an
the people.
introduction.
I know. Well, it's like something happened. He's older than me about 3 years, and we just kind of like I got one side of the spectrum. He's got the other side. He's always the negative side of the luck spectrum. But yeah, so it's pretty crazy. Like things can happen to him that are not normal. So this is one instance where I don't know who else this could happen to besides my brother. But he was at a home by himself, and he was in the shower, just taking a shower, and he slipped. Which happens. I've slipped in the shower. It happens. Well, he happened to slip and he fell on his side and he like fucking really fucked up his kidneys.
Ah, that's what happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
shoot.
slipped in the shower and
Oh,
landed on his
man.
side and he fucked up his kidney, right? So he called my brother Chris, and my brother Chris ended up taking him
that's
to the
crazy.
hospital, right? And he stayed with him. He ended up being fine. So he ends up it was like later that night. He finally ended up getting him come back home, and he had the hospital bracelet on, and all's good. He's just like severe bruising all on his back, and he should be fine. I think he had to take some pills or something like that. But as he's sitting there in the living room, relaxing after just getting back from the hospital, being there for like 6-7 hours, right? And he ends up sitting. He's like on his couch, and he's sitting there, and he's like trying to cut off his bracelet. And he's looking around, and in his living room, for some reason, he has an old samurai sword. And I don't know why it's in his living room. And he should have gone to his kitchen, which was literally like 4 or 5 steps away. But he ends up going and taking his samurai sword, pulls it out, and tries to cut off his bracelet. But instead of cutting off like this, like a person, which again, who would normally use a samurai sword? Who
I know,
would
right?
normally use that? Like, I'm gonna cut
Who
this
owns
off.
one?
Yeah, who owns one to begin with? Well, I used to. So,
All right,
but again,
you.
we grew up in the country.
You and your brother.
Different world, Texas country. It's different.
I mean,
But,
if you're in the country, you think you got guns, not swords, man.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we got a little everything.
Okay.
We got fireworks on us.
Okay,
Who knows what's
okay.
going on? But anyway, so he ended up deciding to cut off his little bracelet. And again, if you're gonna use a sword, at least push it outwards. But again, he started and he went this way, and he pulled it and he sliced
Oh,
it.
my God.
And as he sliced it, the pressure of that was so fast, the sword
Oh,
ended
my
up
God.
getting stuck right in his forehead. And he has
Damn,
this like
man.
I have a scar here too, which y'all probably can't see. It's like right on here. But mine's from a car accident. My brother, who was trying to copy me, is what I told him. He now has a scar in the same spot, except it's facing the opposite way. And it's like he ended up pulling it out like a dumbass, but he had it stuck there. He didn't know what to do. He's like freaking out because he went to the mirror and the sword just stuck to his head.
Oh, my
And
God.
he's like, he ended up knocking on the neighbor's door, trying to get them, and they weren't answering, and he was trying to figure out what to do. And then he ended up finding his phone and calling my brother. My brother Chris had to come back to his house and pick him up and take him back to the
That's
hospital.
freaking crazy.
And then he ended up pulling the sword out before he even go in the hospital, and then blood just started pouring on his face because, yeah, it's a little chilly in here. But yeah, just those are just of one of the few stories. Just like one of the crazy stories I had with me almost dying several times. There's probably
Could
crazy
we
amount of stories.
talk about that samurai thing? Because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
telling me he went like this or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it.
I'm
and
just
then-
guessing that's how he cut
Uh-huh.
it because I don't know how else you with a sword you get stuck in the head. You had to have been pulling toward yourself. How else would you
Yeah.
get it? Which I don't know why. Most people would cut away from themselves.
Yeah.
Like especially if it's a sword, which it's a sword. Like it's a proper sword. And I again I can't understand how he got it stuck to his head. He had to have done this and then just the pressure. Again, he could have killed himself.
He could have.
I don't understand. It's just the fact that he had to go back to the hospital.
He would have been the first man to commit seppuku by accident.
Yeah, by accident.
You know what that is? When they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they would stab it in their
I
stomach.
think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Seppuku is like a Japanese thing where like a samurai goes
Yeah.
through great shame or something.
Yeah, and it's supposed
and they
to
end up taking their own life.
and it's supposed to counteract it like a
Yeah,
balance. Yeah. Yeah.
So this man was he's
Yeah,
about to
could
do
have been
that.
to his funeral
by
and
accident.
then by dumbass. James
But that's
Seagal.
crazy because like you telling me the sword was in his head,
in his
like
head,
in the skull.
and I told him he shouldn't have took it out. But that would have been a great story. Going to the hospital, you just show up there with the fucking sword in your head.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I would not, and he took it out, and then of course it starts bleeding because it wasn't bleeding. It just was stuck in his skull.
With any type of anything in your body, if you get shot or stabbed or anything, you're supposed to leave it in.
Yeah.
So the blood doesn't.
Just for a little bit, but I think because he couldn't get out of his door and he was trying to figure out what to do.
Okay, that's why. Because the doorway is like this and the sword's like this, so he just keeps getting stuck.
He said he started freaking out.
That's a cartoon, man.
No, it's like, I promise. He said he started freaking out and he's like trying to know what to do because he has a sword stuck to his head. He's just like wandering around, and again, it's like
that's hilarious.
It's at least like 4 foot long. I'm not sure how long a sword is, but it's like a samurai sword.
It's definitely long, yeah.
But I was just like, I was just trying to understand that because how that happens, how he gets in these situations.
I don't know, just shit. I don't know, man. That's
no, it's
not trying to be mean, but that's just straight not thinking things through. You know?
Yeah, and the fact that he told me that I don't have street smarts and like I just have dumb luck. I was like, I don't know what you have. Is it MS syndrome? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what you have.
I was like, but it's
definitely not smart.
This is example of some of his luck in the past. I remember there was like this when I was a kid. There was, I think it was like an Applebee's or a Cracker Barrel or something like that was opened up in my hometown, and we just went there, just opened up, going there for lunch. And everything's new. The waiters are new. The whole staff, everybody. We sit down at a table kind of like this. My brother would be sitting in a place like this, and the waiter was coming by. And as he was coming by with the drinks, he drops all of them. They land on the table. All the drinks land on my brother. Nobody else gets wet. Nobody else gets anything. And I immediately just start laughing because only that shit would happen to him.
Damn.
And it's like it just random. He just randomly tripped, and all 4 drinks just all over him. I'm just like, God,
he's older.
Yeah, he's older. 3 years older than me.
Maybe when he was born, he saved you from all the bad luck.
Man,
he sucked all the bad luck. And that way, all the luck went to you instead.
Something happened, man.
Goddamn.
Like it's not normal. Like for the things that happened to him, it's like here when Blockbuster was a thing. This is again another weird random. He grabbed a movie off the shelf to show me a movie. He just like, hey, look, and then as soon as he grabbed it, all the shelves just. And I'm just like, I just leave. I'm like, all right, I don't know him. I just walk off. Leave. Yeah, I just leave him over there. He's like freaking out, and then you just see the Blockbuster person just like, oh, god damn it.
They got caught his DVDs back.
Yeah, they got the all back. But man, it's the luck of a person, and that's why if you don't believe in luck, that has to be an example. I have random happy accidents happen to me, and then he has I don't know what shit, just random shit happens to him, and it's like. It's karma. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's just sometimes people have a shit dealt to hand. You know.
Yeah. Some people just got bad luck.
Yeah. Well, anything bad like luck or positive luck happen in your life? Nothing that stands out of the ordinary.
I don't know. Nothing comes to mind right away. But I do feel like I feel like my luck is kind of average. Honestly.
Average is like average luck.
I feel like I don't have luck. I feel like it's more karma, because I do consider myself to be a good guy. You know, I don't think I do people wrong. So
I wouldn't say that about you, no.
Yeah, so I think just based on that, bad stuff doesn't happen to me. But I say that because I know people that I would consider bad people, and bad stuff just constantly happens to them. Yeah. This one dude I used to know, we're not friends anymore, but that guy had a hell of bad luck, but he also was a bad person. Cause he was like constantly. He wouldn't cheat on his girlfriend, but I wouldn't doubt it if he did cheat. Because this guy would do crazy stuff, man. Like, I remember one time, in Renton, there's like a farmer's market in the summer. And there's this booth where they sell bouquet of flowers, beautiful big bouquet of flowers, for like $5. Super cheap. Yeah. You know, you go to Walmart, it's going to cost you, Safeway, it's going to cost you like $30 for like a shitty ass bouquet. Yeah, no, this was like beautiful, homegrown, everything for $5. And I remember he would go buy flowers every Sunday. I think that's when the farmers market is there for his girlfriend, right? But even though he had a girlfriend, this guy still had he would be talking about other girls, like how he wants to fuck them and stuff, and then he'd be having crushes on girls, for real crushes, you know, because he had this crush on his friend's cousin actually. And he had a crush on her, right? This whole time he has a girlfriend, committed relationship and everything, right? And then I remember going back to the farmer's market. There was a day where he went to the farmer's market and he came back with 2 bouquets of flowers,
Oh
right?
shit. Yeah.
And one of them was for his girl. And guess what he did with the other one?
Give it to the cousin.
Yeah, and this is how he did it. Okay, because he would talk to this cousin, but he would never like make any direct advances or anything. But he was crushing on her, right? And what he did was he knew where she lived, so that night before he went and dropped off the flowers to his girlfriend, he went over to her house, dropped off a bouquet of flowers in front of her door, with like I think maybe with a note or something. I don't know.
That's pretty crazy.
And then left to go to his girlfriend and give her flowers. So I was like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that you don't care about.
Yeah.
I would say either of them, but it's alright.
Yeah. So he that's just one aspect about him, but he other bad stuff too, like just.
Well, I would say he falls in the trap that most men fall into, and it's like they just want more.
Yeah.
All men. Most people in general. Yeah, they just greed can consume you in any form it manifests. But it's like, wow, that's pretty unfortunate for her. Hopefully,
they're still together.
They're still together.
I don't know how you feel about this topic, but the way I look at it is I just mind my business and stay out of it.
It's
because why cause drama?
No, it's not my. It'd be different if it was like if that was my sister or something like that. I'm like, hey, you can't be doing that. But if it was like, it's not my business to. I wouldn't want to do that. Like, I would buy if it was my friend. I'm like, dude, don't you have a respect enough to not do that to her? I was like, if you're gonna do that, at least break up and let her. Don't hold her back. She might find somebody that actually cares about her. Like I would probably be like that with my friend, but I wouldn't tell her. It's not my business unless she was my really good friend. Yeah. And then I would just be like, hey, I would have both of them talk. Y'all need to talk to each other. Why? Just talk.
Yeah.
That's
that's a very iffy situation. It depends on a bunch of things, because same thing if for me, if I was friends with a girl before him, and we already had a past, I would definitely tell her. But this situation, I was friends with him first, and I didn't really know the girl. Yeah. And it's complicated, and
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it sucks because it sucks. Yeah, but going back to the whole karma thing, that's the type of person he is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he's does bad in other aspects of his life too. Like he's not very honest, kind of snaky, and those are that's how he is, right? Tight. Exactly. And with him, I always notice that bad shit will always happen to him. Consistently.
Sense. Well, I will say my brother, he's a pretty negative person. He's one of those people that when he would wander in a room, you would know he's there. It just feel like the atmosphere changed. Like you've ever been to a house party or something like that, and all of a sudden it just like the vibe changes. You don't know why. It's that motherfucker. He'll do it because he's coming home and he's like has built up anger and shit and frustration from work or whatever's gone on through his day, and he comes home and he'll bring that with him. And I've never. And that's when I first started paying attention to all these energies. I never really started thinking about things like that because like that's not a thing that people talk about and stuff in our life. Not when I was younger anyway. And then because of this dude, my brother walking in, and how it could just change everything made me pay attention. I'm like, all right, that's something to that. And as much bad shit that happens to him, I'm like, it's got to be a factor. He's manifesting it in a sense. Not knowingly, but he's just by him speaking other things into existence. It's like that energy just starts hovering around you. Like you build this kind of own little solar system of energy. I don't know if that's what's happening, but I just never seen so many bad things happen to one person in my life. And he's not a bad. I mean, he's not a horrible bad person. He's just a regular person that does some stupid dumb shit that's kind of bad, but he's not like a serial killer or anything crazy.
I do think you are what you attract. So you're consistently just, if you're a positive person and like opposite of that situation where you walk into a room and you just line it up, you just kind of have this vibe to you, and I think people like that just have good things happen to them. But I think it's just that's what they put out.
Well, it's like it's the same thing. I will say like people like if you do good things, but it's like but also why you're doing the good thing. What are you doing? What's the intentions behind it? Because if it's a negative intention in your head, even though it's positive outwardly, but if it's not positive inwardly, you're gonna the same effect's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. It's gotta be. It's almost like that childhood innocence. You just gotta have that approach and just doing things like that without any. It's like people.
It gotta be genuine.
It's gotta be genuine, and that's how I've always tried to live my life. Try to just be more genuine. Like if I'm doing something, why am I doing this? I don't want it to be self-serving. I don't like to always. I don't give a shit about myself that much to be so self-serving, you know.
Well, that's good.
But it's like there is something to that, like of how you're doing stuff. I always think the intention behind whatever it is, it's got to, if it's a positive intention, and if it's for just the greater good, you know, trying to add things that need to be added. I think that's the important thing. Having that good intention, it can change things. And I think people not having that, which is like what we're talking about, people that live in this other world where what are your intentions, you know? I think it can change, it can affect your life drastically.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially with this whole energy thing and what you put out, because I compare myself a lot. I'm not gonna name this person because I don't want to out them, but there's someone very close to me, and this person has like anger issues and is very negative, and so much bad stuff happens to them. Like when we talk, all I hear is just bad stuff consistently happening to them, right? And I'm just really surprised, and then I would tell them like, it's interesting to talk to you because none of this stuff happens to me. You know, I'm like, people don't treat me this way. People don't do me wrong this way, or these bad random events don't happen to me. But I'm like, it is a little interesting that it happens to you. And I like kind of really had like a little, not confrontation, but just like a very honest conversation. And I was like, I think it's because you're not a very positive person. You know, this person's extremely negative. And you know, I would talk about my life. I'm like, yeah, I'll go through those same exact situations.
Yeah.
But the results are different for me, you know? So that's why I genuinely think how you are, how you act, the energy you give off really does affect the world around you.
It's kind of the same thing. You are what you eat, you know?
Yeah, because I used to, honestly, I don't know if you're going to believe this, but I used to kind of be an asshole, you know? And I would look at myself back then, and life wasn't as good. But then eventually
you're very humble because I don't get that energy from you.
Thank you. Yeah, I am a really different person from what I used to be. But I had a moment when I was like 18 where I had like an actual epiphany in my head. It was crazy. Like it felt like gears started turning in my head, and that's when I made the decision to become a better person and everything. And ever since then, my life has gotten better.
That's good. You know? No, I think
it's actually facts. This is what happens, and that's why when I meet people that complain a lot about things or are sad or negative, I kind of look at them like, you remind me of my old self. And I know how it is to be that type of person. And I'm like, your life isn't probably that happy because I know I've been there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if only you understand that you can change it. You just got to really try.
It's one of those evergreen circles I've been telling you about.
Explain that because you never you created a word.
So this word I would thought of, it's like called evergreen, which it is a name, I guess, so it's an older word, but not how I use it. It doesn't exist. But it's just called evergreen, and I mean it like in these little ripples that we start. Like people can get into these situations, and you will just repeat the same fucking patterns. It's almost like feels like we're unconscious, and we just keep doing this damn thing, these routines. And that's where it's like a spell. We don't even know we're doing it. And it's like when you're finally aware, seeing these patterns and recognizing that, oh shit, I'm doing this. It's trying to break away from that. And these evergreen patterns that I'm talking about, they're so easy to happen. Like you won't even know. It's like just talking to a conversation with a person, all of a sudden it can develop this pattern, and then it's just that can continue on. And you have to learn how to take a step back and what are these patterns you're creating? What kind of patterns do you want?
I'm a little confused about. You can talk to somebody and it'll create a pattern.
Yeah, so it's like even us. Like, look how we started now. We started at work, and now look what we're doing. We're doing fucking podcasts.
Oh, okay, I see.
Like it's like situations can form and happen. But if you're aware of the patterns, how these things want to connect, think of things like a cog. The pieces will start fitting in. But is that where you want to start fitting in? Are you wanting to have your pieces start connecting with these pieces? Yeah. It's like everything's connected. Everything is connected. Every fucking human being, we're all connected in here. I think so. I honestly feel this way. But it's like if your energy is a certain energy and it's not going to match with this energy, it's probably not ever going to connect right. Your parts aren't going to fit properly until you're both around the same level, and it meshes.
I agree.
And I feel like these ripples that I mean, it's like people that get stuck in these patterns. Like you said, they're manifesting their own shit, and and they'll keep, that's their pattern. They'll just repeat, rinse, repeat. It's like conditioner, shampoo. They're doing the same shit over and over. They have to learn how to break that stuff so they can separate. And once they separate, that's when you start growing. You have to learn how to let go, and then you can grow. And once you let go of that, you grow. And it's just like small things, like what you said, how you elevated to a different state, you had to let go. I was an asshole for a bit. I ended up having like a breakdown, and I was like starting to be an asshole, and I was in these patterns of I just stopped giving a shit about anybody. Didn't help my situation. It made it worse. I was like homeless for a little bit. So it's like things will start happening. That was those ripples. I chose to be more self-serving and be an asshole and not give a shit about people. And I just went more angrier direction, and I just kept falling. Bad shit kept happening to me. I basically almost got fired from my job. Like I was like, things just kept. It was just like this domino effect. And then it's like I just
downward.
Yeah, downward, and things got worse and worse and worse. And then I had a friend, thank God, pulling me back out of that stuff. Okay. And then I had this moment of clarity, kind of what we were talking about. I was like, I wasn't always an asshole like this. I didn't have to be like that. And then that's like, and then after this one moment, I knew I had to come back home. I knew, and I moved back home, do all this stuff, and then eventually ended up come back here. So it's like all these different things. This all happened from like 2016 onward. And it's like these, and I started trying to actively, and that's the difference. I actively choosing. I'm consciously aware of my decisions. I'm not just making them, just doing them. I'm choosing things that I want. I'm trying to. I'm like in a way manifesting the things that I'm looking for. But the big conclusion is like life's too short to be a fucking asshole. Man. Don't do it. Like life just
is too short.
Yeah, it's just too short. It's you will feel fucking happier. I know it sometimes helps, but like it sucks doing things for helping other people if you can't help it. But like you don't want to set yourself on fire. Like I learned this from this one dude. Don't set yourself on fire to keep other folks warm. Like if you need to harness your own energy. Once it's good and you can help people, help them. But don't do it to where it damages you. And that's where those lessons I try to learn. Those are the patterns I'm trying to get out of. Is how can I still help people, but then not get into their patterns, And like it's situations can just get formed. And it's like I'm in this big city now. I was, in Texas, being in those small towns, big city, like being in these small towns.
We can see boats in the distance.
Yeah, literally, cruise ships will pop up over there. But West Seattle's right over there. But like the biggest difference is where these patterns is most noticeable. If people that come from a small town to a big city, it's drastically different. Opportunities are so much more condensed, and it's like these little patterns are even more condensed, and that you fall into. Back out in the country, they're more visible. You can see them more because people get stuck in these routines, and you can just see it. It's like going to work, 1 hour there, 1 hour back. That's already part of your routine. That's a pattern now. Is a part of your daily routine.
You said they're more condensed here?
Yeah,
what
condensed.
do you mean by that?
Like how life is. Things, because after you get off work, that's a certain time, then you go there. It's just that things are so close and compacted.
Okay.
You can more
literally condensed.
Yeah, literally condensed. Because in bigger places like Texas, I'm sorry I bring that up too much. It's because that's where I was originally from.
I'm from Seattle. Let's talk about Seattle.
But it's everything's so spread apart. So it's like your patterns that you can fall into, they'll still be there. They're just smaller and more time consuming. So it's like you might fall in these patterns, and then before you know it, you don't have time to do shit for yourself because you're doing all this other stuff. Like then that's when you got to learn how to take a step back and like, is it worth my energy and time doing this shit? Probably not. Most time it's not. Most things we have in our world is just to distract us, to keep us in this one state of always in these evergreen states. That's what I'm talking about. Like it's to keep you distracted so you don't have to worry about it. But if we just pursue this higher self kind of way, it's gonna sound like religion, but just trying to always better yourself. That's basically it. You learn this from Buddhism, whatever you want to learn
from Buddhism?
Yeah, anything. Just trying to better the version of yourself, trying to find an equal balance. Because there's negatives, of course, but there's positive. You have to have fucking both to be complete. You can't just be always positive, because I'm thankful for my depression and anger, because if it wasn't for that, I would not be able to be as creative. I would not know about this darkness part that I can be into and live in that world.
You gotta have the good.
You have to
appreciate the bad.
But you gotta learn how to find this balance, and that balance is like I'm talking about being aware of these patterns and learning how it's like you can control these little patterns. If you're aware, you can stop them before they become anything. Before you start realizing, like a relationship, you waste so much time in it. Like, God damn it. Like all this stuff I saw all these signs a long time ago. The more you are aware of things, you'll start seeing that stuff smaller. Like you already seen with your friends. You start seeing small little things as you hang out. Like, these people don't vibe with me. You feel the energy. It doesn't work right. Your energy is different.
Yeah, and you gotta be able to feel it, but also like do something about it. You
do,
because you can't just feel this bad energy.
No,
like these people aren't good for you, and just still hang out with them. You gotta do something about it.
Then you get stuck in the pattern.
Yeah, or else you're gonna become like them. And that was me. Because if you're around bad people, you're gonna eventually become You are who you surround yourself.
You will. And it's like those things where, like, if you're around, like, 5 billionaires, eventually you'll be the sixth one.
Yeah,
you know,
it's you got all the knowledge, all the connections. That's how it works.
It's just really be aware, trying to figure out what in the fuck you want. This is your life.
Yeah.
If you just want to have the regular thing where you're doing this with your family and kids, great. That's your life. But just how much energy do you want? If you want to be positive, what can you control? You have. It's all in you.
Yeah.
And it's like learning how to control it. It does start with like cutting off those pieces that are affect you negatively. And sometimes it's hard because it's family. Sometimes it's fucking blood related. You know. Yeah. Sometimes you can't always cut them away. Hence why I'm in Seattle and my family's in Texas.
No, yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But I do agree. Yeah. I think a great first step is just to be aware of everything.
It is.
You know, because once you start being aware of everything, you really start to think about your decisions.
Don't be an unconscious being.
Exactly.
It's not worth it.
You can look at something as simple as food. If you're aware of what you put into your body,
100%.
you start eating different.
Ain't small, miss small. Like, find the small things in your life that you can change.
Yeah.
And I promise you, things will start lifting better. You'll start seeing if you want to do something different, if you want to be someone different, you got to do something different. That was from like a movie I learned.
Is it?
Whatever her name is, some movie just recently watched, but Sandra Bullock movie.
Oh, is it?
But it just that line stuck out.
Is Sandra Bullock a porn star?
No, it's Sandra Bullock. She's like the American sweetheart.
I don't know why Sandra Bullock.
She's like
sounds like a porn star to me.
Sandra Bullock. No, she's like a.
Who am I thinking about?
I don't know, man. Like, what are you thinking about, Zico?
I swear there's a porn star that has the name Sandra.
I don't know, man. It's like, no, Sandra Bullock, man. She's like Matthew McConaughey famous. Like she's been in there.
When I hear Sandra Bullock, I think of two things: porn star or politician. I don't know why.
I mean, neither of them at all. Let me see. Let me pull an image. I gotta show this dude. I apologize to everybody that's watching. Sandra Bullock porn star? Question mark. No.
Hey man, maybe we might learn something new on camera. Nah, I don't know why. When I heard that name, it just gives me those two vibes.
Well, to be fair, she hasn't been relevant for a while.
Really?
She's an older actress.
How old is she?
I don't know. She's mostly famous in the 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, so
she's pretty big.
Yeah.
Like you have to know her face.
I've seen her.
Yeah.
But she also kind of looks generic.
Maybe
I'm just being a little stereotypical, but I don't know.
Like you've probably seen some of her movies. The newest one was like Lost City. I think that's where I got this fucking line from.
When
did
Lost
that
City,
come out? 2022.
Oh, okay.
It has Channing Tatum in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something like that. But they had a line in there. It was like, if you want to be someone different, you have to do something different.
Yeah.
So it's same thing. That's about controlling your ripples, your fucking evergreen fucking ripples. That's what I mean. If you want something different, like, I want to have a better body, well, you gotta start probably eating better and working out.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I know it's like, you can't. It's like, no, it's determination. How bad do you want it?
And it's also not gonna happen overnight.
No.
You know, with all these big changes or things you want to improve on, it takes time.
Years.
You know, and the thing is also, let's say for the example of working out, let's say you spend years, like 2 years, eating right, working out, and you lost weight and now you have a nice body.
Yeah.
That's not it.
No.
Now you have to maintain it.
Yeah.
And work on it every day. You don't just reach that point and you're good.
Like, I'm done.
You gotta try every day, you know?
Let's eat some fried chicken.
I know, and that's the same thing. It applies to everything else, you know, like becoming a better person. Like, of course, it's gonna take years to get to that point. But once you get to that point, it's not like you're just naturally a good person.
No.
You gotta try every day.
Every day. I'm just saying, every day I try.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's hard. It's not an easy thing. You have to actively make a decision to what you want to do every day.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a kid, like I actually make a decision to be that person that you want to be for this kid.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what you want to do.
And that's why a lot of people don't change.
No.
Because it's a lot of work.
It is. And people just don't want to be different.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's worth it though.
It is worth it.
How would you compare your previous self to your new self? Would you say life is better?
I'm happier. No, it's like even if things don't work out how I'm hoping one day, I'm already gonna be happier. I'm already happy right now. Even if like say if I don't have enough money to enjoy my life how I wish I could, I'm already happy.
Yeah.
I've learned how to live an enjoyed life where it's like you're not worried about having to like all these things that make it worthwhile. Like we live in this world where we just always have this money as this thing. This will make my life so much better. It can, but if you're not healed when you get it, it's not gonna make you better. You're just gonna be in the same fucking circles.
Yeah.
You're gonna be just now you have extra money. That how long is that gonna last if you're around these same people that might take advantage of you, whatever. learning, if you get your life to a point of where you can be happy with what you have right now, and then everything else is just extra. It literally is just extra. If you end up getting money, which it can, look how much we make. Like average people make like what, 50,000 a year. And add that up. Eventually, if you learn how to start, bettering yourself, saving money, practicing, putting your vision to investing, whatever. There's opportunity out there. If you have a passion, pursue it. You never know. People might it might work out.
Yeah.
It's like if you can have time to do it when you get off work. Like obviously, it sucks that we have to be part of these little.
That's part of work. You gotta put in work. If you want a nice body, you gotta work.
You do. You have to put in work.
Passion, you gotta put in work.
It is true, and it's like. Finding something you're good at is great. Some people do luck out and they figure that shit out early.
Now some people do get lucky.
Yeah, and they really do.
But again, going back to the money and happiness thing, it definitely does not buy happiness because I've heard so many stories of like sad millionaires. Like I've heard this one story. This girl that I watch on YouTube has a friend that's an escort, right? And she would get a lot of wealthy men to purchase her services, her escort services. But guess what? Most of the time, when the girl shows up to the guy's place, they don't even have sex. They just want someone to spend time with.
That makes sense.
Like there's like a story of like this guy just wanted to smoke with the escort and watch anime, eat food. That's all he wanted.
I'll be that for a millionaire. I was like, hey, you want to hang out, buddy? All right.
But yeah, that just shows you how lonely these guys are. They got money, but they probably spent all their time making that money that didn't build connections, didn't build friendships, relationships, any of that.
No, that's true. That's because they wanted their goal in life probably was money, and that's what they went after. Then after they got it, they're like, oh, I don't have anything now. But it's also a difference. Like I've been a sad poor person. I wouldn't mind feeling what it might feel like being a sad millionaire.
Well,
like I'm sad, but I have all this money.
I know. I mean, it's.
No, I'm fucking around.
I think a lot of the time, we have these goals that we want to achieve, and then once we reach those goals, I don't know if you felt it, but exactly. Yeah. And it's like. I really have more fun on the journey.
Yeah, it is. Just gonna bring this Kurt Cobain thing popped in my head. I do remember in one of his writings, he was saying like when he was in a band, his favorite thing was right before they got famous. He wanted to keep doing that, be in a band until they get famous, leave it, and start over. That's funny because that journey of when they're in there, it's so fucking fun. It is. I mean, I've never been at that level of where I got so many fans playing for, but playing and doing that journey of music, that creative process where everyone's just trying, all the bandmates are all trying their hardest to have this goal they're going after. So it's like that creative process, being around that energy, it's fucking great and it's inviting. But money definitely can change things, and if you're not ready for it, I've never experienced money like that, but it's like I can get it. That's why it helps if you're in the place mentally there and to be ready for it. Yeah. But I will say that connections like with people, it's gonna be so much more rewarding.
I think that's what matters. Because I've told you, I love watching interviews on YouTube, hearing all types of people talk about different things, successful people, this or this. But I also like watching interviews of old people. Yeah. And they say the same thing. It's always the same advice. Yeah. They wish that they just enjoyed life more. Took it slow, didn't rush, and made more memories, spent more time with people. That's it. They never talk about money or material possessions. All they talk about is actual time with people, memories, connections, all that. That's all that matters at the end, Because I would think, I'm only 22. Yeah. I have a long way to go. But if I would empathize and try to put myself in a mindset of an 80-year-old, which is hard to do, I would think that once you reach the end of your life, all you have is just the memories that you made along the way, because by the time you're 80, a lot of people, probably passed away.
100%. You don't need more friends, man. They all died the next day, probably. It's like,
Yeah, so all you have left is the memories, and like the kids that you have, the family that you have, whatever. So I think what really matters is people. Honestly.
That's true.
And fulfilling your purpose and, your soul. Because I like doing podcasts. That's what fulfills me.
And that's most people, they don't know what fulfills them. Yeah. And that's why people get lucky when they're younger and they actually discover that.
Well, you gotta try shit. I've tried a lot of shit.
Yes, that's the thing.
I've been on a 4-year journey trying stuff. First thing I tried was making clothing. I drew a bunch of logos and stuff and put them on beanies that I actually have at home. Maybe I'll wear one to work just to show you. That's one thing I tried, a clothing brand. After that, I tried making music. I did make I spent like 6 months making music, and then I reached the point where I'm like, oh, this song's all right. I think I'm happy with this. And I moved on from that. I did gaming videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I would post clips on Instagram. So basically, what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But I already have experience from that time.
You do.
So now I apply to podcasts.
That makes sense.
And then after that, I tried my own podcast for like a year and a half, and then now I'm here.
Hey.
So I've just been on a journey trying to figure out, because things did catch my attention for a period of time, but then like over time I'm like, it's whatever. But podcasting has not lost my interest. I really love it, and having conversations with people and stuff. This is generally what I like to do. And everything else that I've learned, I apply to podcasts.
I think that's good. That's the finding that thing that gets you that little itch.
I really tried.
Yeah.
It was a long journey, and who knows? Maybe this isn't it. But I'm still be on that journey no matter what.
That's good. I think that's where a lot of people struggle trying to find that itch, and you do have to try. Sometimes people get lucky and their family happen to all be doing the same thing. Like I grew up in a family. I'm a musician. Nobody in my family plays music. Nobody, and that's why I was like, I just had an urge to play, and I wanted, and then like having a family that can actually provide is great. I did not have that exactly. I remember asking my mom for like a guitar when I was like 12. I got one at 15. So it's like I eventually got one, thankfully, but it's like having that, and then I had that urge that I don't know what happened. Something clicked in me. I think it was when I first heard Nirvana. All of a sudden, I was like, I want to play music like
that. What
age?
age?
12. Yeah. 12? Yeah. I first heard Nirvana. I traded Coolio CD for a Nevermind album, and after that, that's all I want to do is I want to fucking play music. I could not think of anything else, and that was it for me. But it does help having if I was ever become a parent, like I want to be able to provide if I can. If I see those itches in kid, whatever it is, whatever the fuck they want to do, it's like finding that drive and then pushing them, giving that fire, kindling that fucking fire.
Like nurturing whatever type of talent.
That's what a parent's supposed to do.
Yeah,
too bad my parents didn't get that memo.
Oh man, I think each generation slowly gets better.
It does.
Yeah.
Man. But I think if more people, it's hard because the way we have our life set up, which I'm thankful at our current job that we get as much free time. Most we get 30 days off.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome. Floating holidays too.
Yeah, we get all that time off, and I know most jobs don't. They maybe give people a week to use. Yeah. And maybe a few handful of days.
We get it off the bat.
Yeah, off the bat.
I'm taking this coming week. I'm off 3 days because I have to use my floating holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I only work Tuesday.
That's fucking. That's good. Damn.
I have floating. I have to use
them.
Yeah,
you have to use them.
This is last week.
Our Masaki had like 100 and something hours. He's never used any of them.
Damn, dude. Does he use it?
I don't think so. I remember the other day.
It's just going to waste.
Yeah, Heather. Well, that rolls over.
But floating holidays don't.
No, but he had 100 something hours of PTO.
Oh, just from all these years.
Yeah, and I was like, gosh, damn. And I was like, he can be out for like a month.
He can.
If you wanted.
I was looking on we have like a spreadsheet or whatever showing who's off and what. I seen one of our coworkers is gone for a whole month.
Damn.
I think he just saved up. I'm not saying his name for respect, but I'm just saying I think he just saved up his PTO the whole year just to have a month off.
Damn, yeah.
Straight month, just not working. That's crazy.
I get that. That works.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I was like, awesome. If you can do it, do it. That sounds great. Yeah. But it's like being at a job where at least has opportunity for that. That helps people if you trying to find something. And I get there's some people that have to work multiple jobs, going to school. It's hard to find your itch. It is hard to find that. We live in a world where, especially in America, because it's this corporate kind of like boom, 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 boom. And I do hate that.
Or if you got a kid.
Yeah, if you had a kid, I couldn't imagine that. Like my mom, she had to leave so much just to take care of us. And then after parents divorced, having to have 2 jobs to cover it's I hate that she had to waste her life to take care of me and my brother. It's in a way she didn't waste it. Obviously she provided, but it's like losing. People should still have the opportunity to pursue other things on their own. Like if you had a kid, you should still have free time to want to be able to do stuff like this. But our lives aren't set up like that. It's unfortunate.
I'm trying to set it up before I have a kid.
Yeah, no, that's good. And that's the thinking that people need to have. We need a lot more people having that generation of having that thought. Because
I consistently always think about one day I'm gonna have a kid.
Yeah.
So I always try to do everything I can right now before that happens.
That's good.
When you have a kid, you gotta dedicate like your life to them.
Yeah, it'll change your life. You can probably adjust it where hopefully you can still pursue your stuff, but you may not. I mean, life circumstances may not.
Yeah.
You may have to change your dream, and a new dream might have to get born from the
Yeah.
ashes.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want to do that. They're just like, I want to keep my same dreams.
Shit, with me, I'm like water. You know, shit happens, I can adjust. That's how it works.
And that's how people should be. We all need to be like water.
Shit, we all gotta be like Bruce Lee.
Yeah, no, it's it. We just gotta be able to move through things and just not be so rigid. It's hard because we developed our own little things from childhood.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because you told me you were rigid.
In some ways.
How did
absolutely.
you get over that?
Well, it depends. Like, so what kind of rigidness what are things that you would say that you have that are rigid that are for you?
I don't like it when people. I'm kind of stubborn when people try to tell me what to do.
I
honestly.
get that.
Like I just have this thing where I don't want to listen, but I have to like force myself. I'm like, okay, listen to them. Okay, they're just trying to help.
So yeah, I have a little bit of that in me. There's like especially some coworkers. There's some people that are of course always gonna be difficult to work with, and it's trying to be like water around people like that because you have to be able to things need to flow. It doesn't need to always come to a stop and a halt.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta learn how to, it's like always be the bigger person, you know, in a sense, but learn how to be like water and move around it. Like, all right, don't let it's like water off a duck's back, which I learned that from.
What does that mean?
It's like I learned this from like a drag
I've heard
queen.
it too.
Yeah, it's like it's just letting things just flow past you, like just letting it flow, not letting it affect you. Just water off a duck's back. I'm just letting it glide over me.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a good. I wish I knew this drag queen's name.
Wait, you heard that from a drag queen?
Yeah, drag queen. It was
RuPaul?
on RuPaul's Drag Race.
That was
yeah,
him from him.
Yeah, no, not RuPaul.
One of the people
but
on
one of the people on that, one of the contestants.
You watched that?
Yeah, it was actually when I was got high a while back, and I was like, "This is a great show."
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember. I wish I remember their name, and I do
It doesn't matter.
apologize. But yeah, but it's like that type of same thing. Like learn not to be rigid. So mine being rigid, I am stubborn. I can be an asshole. I can be. A lot of that might be. I might be a little autistic in some ways where I
might
have
too.
that.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
So
No, who
it's
cares?
like,
But
no. But a lot of that might be like that. It's like I don't have time for people sometimes, and I'm just like I'll just leave conversations or
do you?
scenarios. Yeah,
Or you just walk without saying
I
anything.
just because I'm like, I think I'm done. I might say something like that and leave, which I know that's not a normal thing, but I don't like to waste my time. In that aspect. So I could be more patient. I am patient in some ways, but my mom will say I'm not patient. So it's like
Wait, what? How
I
does
know
that work?
it doesn't make sense, but as I am patient, it depends on certain things. Like me and driving, I'm not so patient all the time. If I'm high when I'm driving, yes, I'm great. I'm a great fucking driver. But
You
when
get
I'm
road
not,
rage?
I do. Not when I'm high. No, I don't at all. I'm fucking chill as
I mean,
fuck.
I don't think anybody can get mad.
Yeah,
when
it's
they're
hard.
Yeah.
But when I'm without, especially fucking Seattle, these people do not know what they're doing. They don't. Especially downtown, people are like trying to make turns to the right in the fucking left lane. They just start going.
That's funny.
It's just like people's like, I gotta park, and they just stop. No blinker, and they just slam on their brakes, and like I gotta turn, and they just start trying to turn. It's just stupid shit.
Yeah.
And it's just dumb things like that, and it can cause me to get a little angry
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, it's just there's small things. I mean, I'm sure I'm rigid in too many aspects, especially as like being around certain people. I have to learn how to take a step away, and that is hard. Learning to like be aware that hey, I'm feeling something that's starting to send me to a different level. Learning to take that step back, I struggle with that.
Yeah,
That's,
I think that's part of the male ego
Probably.
type of thing where
Oh,
you just
100%.
want to puff out your chest
Yeah.
and just keep escalating the situation.
When I was younger, I was one of those people that it's like I have gasoline. I'll make this shit bad. You want to make it bad? I'll make this shit
Goddamn.
real bad.
You're
Like
the
enough
second,
where-
you're the second person I know that sets fire to things.
Yeah, no, I was like, and it sucks. I used to ruin everything. I'll be like, when I was younger as a kid, I'm like, y'all want to go this extreme? Fuck it, I'll set this school on fire. I was like, I'll make this worse. And I was like, I've been kicked out of so many fucking
Hey, you
schools.
know what we did to our elementary school?
What y'all do to elementary?
This is a pretty crazy story, but I'll end this off with this story.
All right,
but
let's go.
basically, back in elementary, I was in 5th grade, and my little brother was in 4th grade. But to give some more context, we both had smoked weed
Shit.
at like, I think for me, I might have been in 4th grade. Quick story, but basically what happened was I had a friend, and her brother was a cholo. You know what a cholo? Yeah, and this guy was named Chico. So Chico
Chico.
and Chico smoked a little. I was like, how old are you in fourth grade? Like 9. So I was 9,
Yeah.
sleeping over at her apartment, and I remember
Was that your first time?
sleeping at her
No,
apartment.
smoking weed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is the first time I've ever done it. So I was sleeping at her apartment, and then Chico was like, "Hey, fool." You know how cholos talk.
Same
Hey,
age as you?
nah, this guy's
Oh.
like in high school.
Oh shit! Like
Yeah, older brother.
Oh, yeah.
My bad. I should have added that in. But Chico was like, "Hey, fool, come here, fool." You know, telling me to go into their bedroom. I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go in." And this guy pulls out a blunt, starts lighting it. He's like, "Hey, take a hit." I'm like, "What is this?" You know? I think I knew what weed was, but took a hit of it. And looking back, I don't think I was high, but knowing how I am, I was high.
Yeah, yeah.
Because sometimes I don't know I am, but people tell me I am. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Because apparently, what he told me was I was like hanging off the balcony or whatever.
Oh shit.
I don't know. I don't believe it. I think kids be exaggerating and stuff. But that was my first time smoking. So at that age, me and my brother already had experience smoking and stuff. Like we would, because in that Beacon Hill neighborhood in Seattle, back then had a lot of Mexicans.
Mm.
Now not as much. It's like kind of like gentrified and stuff. I think that's the word. But a lot of Mexicans. So I remember this other cholo. We would like smoke in the apartment building. The apartment building had a laundry room. We would lock ourselves in it and hotbox it as kids, And this cholo was in middle school.
Oh shit.
So yeah. And then one day I remember going to school. I think on the walk there with me and my little brother, I think we found a little baggie of weed just on the side of the sidewalk. So I think my little brother took it with him and went to the school. And then some shit happened. I don't know if he was showing it off or whatever, but he got caught with it. And then this other girl like snitched on him. But I don't know if you can use the word snitch because we're just kids,
Yeah.
But this other girl told on him. And they dragged me into it too because I'm a part of this too. And there ended up being this whole investigation. Like police came to the elementary school.
Oh shit.
And they like brought us to the office and started like interrogating us.
Damn.
And I'm only like 9.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on, man? They're like saying like some stuff like your mom's in the other room crying and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I didn't do nothing. I'm just 9, But yeah, that happened. And then like I remember my principal at the time. It's kind of mean to me. Like she would like look at me in the face and like go off on me about weed. I'm like, looking back, I'm like, it's just weed.
Yeah.
But I can get it because like you don't want the kids to go down a
Yeah.
wrong path. But at the same time,
Back then people thought it was like a gateway drug.
Yeah.
It still was like that.
it was. It definitely was. But I do think they were kind of like too mean to kids. Looking back at it now, but at the same time, things were meaner back then. Because like
for sure.
I know like the '90s and all that stuff was like worse situation, and now things are better. But I think my generation was the in between. Like the transition period.
Yeah.
Like, things were still kind of bad, but not that bad.
Yeah, you were going through what I was going through in high school.
Yeah.
Like you're in
Oh,
between, yeah.
exactly. I know.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
I was like, that's where I told you like
Mm.
technology started having that weird jump,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I was still playing catch up,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, yeah.
'cause I was probably like your older brother's age.
Okay, so I can kind of relate to
Yeah.
what you mean by that now. But anyway, so then like they were like kind of yelling at me and stuff. I was like, shit, I'm just 9, But eventually that whole thing subsided. I think, cause like I don't think what can they do? They can't arrest us. We're only 9.
If you had the stuff on you, you might have some kind of things it might do. It
Maybe.
might go to court and stuff.
Maybe juvie or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. But I think they just let it go eventually.
Yeah.
Because it was just a little bit, and we just found it on the side of the road.
Yeah.
We're not distributing or like selling or.
That's what they were probably thinking. That's
Maybe.
what they were afraid of.
Maybe,
if it
huh?
was something like that.
Maybe that could be a
Fuck
good
that
point.
girl. Snitch.
I know, man.
God
And
damn.
she had a crush on me too. I'm like, how you
Yeah.
gonna snitch on me when you have a crush on me?
So you said, well, I thought that'd be best because you might
man.
be doing heroin.
Man. Still, that was really shitty.
Yeah,
but
no,
that was a
man.
really bad experience.
Yeah.
But then I remember, well, even previous to that, we didn't like our principal already. But now I definitely didn't like her because she
Yeah,
just yelled at
fuck
me.
it, yeah.
I'm like 9. So I remember me and my friends, we would always hang out at that park in Beacon Hill. And every day, like, play basketball, tag, whatever, just kid stuff, ride bikes. And I remember we got mad that day. So we got a bunch of Sharpies. And all over that playground, all over the school walls, we wrote, fuck miss, and the principal's name. And we drew dicks everywhere, And then
Zigo the Rebel.
the next day, they had a whole questioning all the kids and stuff, trying to figure out what happened. they never caught us.
Yeah.
But looking back, I think they know it was us
Yeah, I'm sure.
because they have to have cameras.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
So I
yeah.
think they just didn't want to go through another thing with us, because we just
Yeah.
had the whole weed thing. I don't think they wanted to have a whole nother conversation about it.
No, but that's still fucking
But we tagged
crazy.
the whole school, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of dumb that all that stuff's going on. Like the, I guess I don't know what they would do nowadays with it because I feel like that might be even worse because it's so easy to get cannabis from anywhere. But I don't know if that would be the same. They still react the same.
I think they would be a lot nicer than what they
Yeah.
were yelling at me,
Yeah,
man. I was
no,
9.
they were
Getting
they
yelled
traumatized
at.
you basically.
Yeah, they
you know?
did kind of. They did kind of.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's-
I don't know.
Were you like? Did you have to go to an alternative school or anything like that?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, I honestly, maybe my memory just blocked it out.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know what was the conclusion. I just know that
It's like I don't know what.
I just
happened.
remember getting interrogated a lot
Yeah.
for like a couple days, and then I just went back to class. I don't remember what happened in between, but nobody got arrested or anything. It was just in school suspension, Like you
That's
don't go to your
crazy.
classes; you just do schoolwork in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but that was a crazy time, and I think it was funny because my brother, once that girl told on us, my brother like went to the bathroom and tried to flush it, but I think it clogged the toilet instead. So I was like, "Fuck," they got caught. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy story, man. I smoked weed for the first time at 9, and then a year later, got interrogated for it. God damn,
When was the next time you did it again? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh
after that?
yeah. So I smoked a couple times between 4th and 5th grade, and then after that, I didn't smoke again until 18.
18. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Quite a big gap.
yeah. My brother's a different story, but I didn't smoke until 18.
Yeah.
I just never really had the desire to again
Yeah.
until I got a little older, and in high school, I think like my senior year, I started wanting to experiment. I tried this other drug called Xanax. You know about that?
Yeah.
I have another funny story about that, but I'll tell you guys about it on the next podcast.
Next
Okay.
podcast. All right.
This one's at 52 minutes. I guess that's to make up for the short
Yeah,
one.
there you go. Make
Yeah.
up for the short one.
But yeah, that was a cool one. We talked about a whole bunch of topics. I don't even know how to summarize it, but basically just be a better person. Takes a lot of work.
I mean,
much.
it takes a lot of work. It's
Yeah.
every day for sure, but
It is.
it's worth it. I
It is.
promise.
It is.
You
Yeah.
will be a happier person.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm Seiko. This is.
Josh.
And what's your Instagram again?
It's at poetry.and.lens.
All right, there you go. And this is Broken Bear Conversations. We're on everything: YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram. Check us out.